efficiency.
Hey, all, Wade with efficiency. Hey, I've got a super important topic today that I'm going to cover that I think is going to benefit just about anybody that applies this to their life. But before we get started, I want to talk a little bit more about what efficiencybook.com is all about. We're here to be a mirror in your life to help you unlock your true potential. If you don't know your life's purpose, we'll actually come in and help you define what that looks like for yourself so you can live a more fulfilling life. If you're stuck in a rough spot, we've got certified life coaches that are going to come in and just ask you guided questions. You've got the answers. You're the expert in your own life. And with these questions, you're going to be able to unlock the success that you've been hoping for. So now that we've got that taken care of, one of my personal goals is I want to get 1,000 five-star reviews on this podcast on iTunes. So if you can do me a favor, jump over after this is done, give us 5-star rating, share this with somebody that you think might benefit from it. Otherwise, let's jump right into this, guys. All right, so the topic we're going to cover today is love what you hate. Now, that's not a super crazy topic as far as complexity. It's very simple. With efficiency, we're always looking to simplify our life and be very effective so we can do things as easily as possible so we can have more time, energy, effort, all of that. So this principle here, love what you hate. Let me kind of explain what this looks like. So when I was in college, we had this punishment for baseball, college baseball. If we showed up late or if one of our teammates showed up late to practice, morning workouts, whatever it was, we'd have this punishment. And this punishment was called monkeys. So the reason it was called monkeys was because, I don't know, they should have called it gorillas in my opinion, but with this exercise, you got into a squat position. You put your knuckles on the ground. So if you're at the baseball field, knuckles in the dirt, knuckles in the grass. If we were in the gym, knuckles on the gym floor. And then you shuffle. You stay in a parallel, 90-degree bend in your knees, and you shuffle all the way around the baseball field, all the way around the gym, pretty much until the coaches got tired. Not until you got tired. You got tired within about two seconds of those shuffles. So it's one of those exercises that, oh man, it was hell. Everybody hated this, including myself. And so the reason I think this can be a huge principle in your life to unlock some success is learning to love what you hate. So we had this guy, I won't dime him out just in case he listens to this podcast, but we had this guy. He showed up late. Sorry guys, I'm used to my mom waking me up. Dude, you're a sophomore in college. You don't know how to set an alarm on your phone, whatever. Either way, the entire team had to do 2 monkeys. So that was all the way around the infield of the baseball field. So I don't know the exact dimensions of that, but to me that's comparable to running 3 miles. That's how much your legs burn afterwards. So if your knuckles came off the ground, you had to start over. If anybody's knuckles came off the ground, the entire team had to start over. So it was pure hell. So this is where I really learned to love what I hated. I hated doing monkeys. I hated doing this punishment for somebody else that was late. So I use that hate to fuel my motivation. I use that hate for something good. I've talked about positive and negative energy and how as humans we can harness either or. We're not a car, we're not a diesel truck where we can only use one fuel type. We can use any energy source and use it for fuel and motivation. So this is when I first realized the power of loving what we hate. So hated monkeys, hated this dude for being late, hated all that. So I'm not physically any more talented than any of these other college athletes out there on the baseball field with me, but what I did have was this fire inside me. I used this hate to motivate myself and just beat the crap out of my body. So what I did was ended up passing everybody on the field. I just wanted to get done with this thing. I'm like, if anybody gets their knuckles off the ground, I'm going to be done, and I'm going back to my dorm, right? So people are collapsing. They're keeping their knuckles on the ground, but they're collapsing. So I finished my 2, and there's some people still on their first one. Of course, the guy that was late, the one that made us do this, was still on his first one. So leveraging this hate for these monkeys, I started to see a brighter side of things. I was tired. I was worn out. I don't know what was going on in his life. To me it was a bunch of excuses of, mommy didn't wake me up, or, I couldn't ask a teammate to make sure I was up, or I couldn't set an alarm. But besides all that, I learned to really master my craft. Monkeys sucked. Getting down in that position absolutely sucked. I hated it. But I was determined to master that. I was determined to become the best I could at monkeys that day. And that's why I was able to stay in good form, hustle all the way through, and ended up catching people. I was going for a third lap because I finally figured out that the trick to this thing is you've got to keep moving. That pain's going to be there. The quicker you get it done, the quicker it's going to be over. So that was my motivation to power through. Once I figured that out, I could leverage that in my benefit of becoming to love this. It was painful. It was literally physically painful. It was emotionally and mentally challenging. But once I learned to love it, it was a process. All right, this hurts, but once I'm done, I'm done. That fueled me and it motivated me even more. It became such an easier task for me to do. I ended up going a third lap and finishing with everybody. It was going super slow. So I'm not using this story to brag. Okay, maybe a little bit. Monkeys suck. If you ever do one, make sure it's just one. But if you can end up loving the process, we're going to be stuck in some shitty situations in life. We're going to be stuck with coworkers that we don't like, even people that we hate. So if we're going back, Nassim Taleb, he's the author of The Black Swan and a couple other books that have really changed and impacted my life. But he talks a lot about the books that have been around for years, the books that have been highly rated for not just 1 year. It wasn't a bestseller for 1 year. No, it was a bestseller for 10 years. Check out those books. So when I'm thinking of success principles, I think of the Bible. The Bible talks about loving not just your neighbor, but loving your enemy. So if we can apply that principle to people in relationships, love the people we hate, what about when we love the task that we hate? For me, it was monkeys. For you, it could be going to work. It could be whatever situations you're at. So if you can love the process, if you get on efficiencybook.com, we have a lot of training on how to set goals, process goals being one of them. We can't always control the outcome. We always can control the process, though, of what we do. So if I'm an athlete, say I'm a basketball player, I can't control if the defender gets in my way last second and blocks the shot, but I can control if I had the perfect setup, perfect follow through, and perfect shot. I can't control if that ball actually goes in. So there's other factors out there. Same thing with life. I can drive my car as perfect as possible and still get in an accident because of somebody else. But if I can control what I can control, and that's the process, typically we'll get to the destination. But how frustrating is it in baseball? You have the best swing of your life, hit a hard line drive, and somebody catches it. You're still successful if your goal was a process goal of have a good swing on the ball, hit the ball hard, rather than hit a home run. Well, you can't control that every single time. So that's why we talk about process goals. Another tip where I'm kind of stealing all this from, again, guys, I'm not a guru. I've done a lot of research, and I want to encourage you to find somebody that motivates you and that can help you level up in life. So with that, David Goggins, he talks about, he's the guy from Living with a Seal, if you've read that book, super motivating as well. But David Goggins, ex-Navy SEAL, just hardcore, probably the strongest man alive, literally, mentally and physically. But what he says is, unless it sucks, we don't do it. The reason why he says that is because he wants to constantly grow. He wants to constantly push himself. If you're the one putting yourself into these challenging situations, what does life, what does the world, what does society have on you? If you're the one putting yourself under stress, you're the one in control of that. So kind of borrowing that principle, kind of borrowing what the Bible talks about, loving your neighbor, embrace the suck. You guys have probably heard that term, embrace the suck. Well, again, life's not all butterflies and rainbows, but if we embrace the suck, if we love what we hate, we're going to be able to be successful and move forward. So I want to encourage you guys to set process goals rather than outcome goals. Love what you hate. If that's a person, a place, a thing, whatever it is, whatever your situation is, if you can love it. I've been in situations where, I went through a divorce. That was, one of the most painful situations in my life. But once I learned to love where I was at, it wasn't a death sentence. It was just a temporary blip of painful, emotional stuff that I had to deal with. But once I learned to love where I was at, I was able to get over that situation. So the same could be true in your life. I don't know what you're going through, but if you need a coach, we're here to help you out. Efficiencybook.com. This is Wade. Share this with somebody that you think might enjoy this, that might benefit from it. Give us 5 stars. Help me get to my goal. I want to get 1,000 5-star ratings on this podcast. So if you can be the one to help me out, this is, again, testing me because I can't control if you press like. I can't control if you press share, but I'm going to do my best to add value into your life with this podcast. All right, guys, have a great day.
Efficiency.